And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? Today is going to be another one of those fantastic shows. We have done our best to excite you. So you know what? Let's just tell you a little bit about it. On today's show, we're going to talk about what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and we're going to do our new segment that tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. We do that every day, Monday through Friday. Different things, obviously, but we do those every Friday. And then today we're going to have a special segment with our own Sean LaFave. He'll be here. We'll be talking about health care on his Geared for Wellness Corner. But first, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 92, and it's on the way down to 62. So very pleasant, very beautiful here in the Inland Empire. Well, I want to talk about the news. I want to talk about the 10 things that you need to be knowing about. We've encapsulated it so we can kind of give you an abbreviated version so you kind of get an idea of what you can talk about to your friends, your neighbors, your people you work with. And then we'll do a little bit more in depth. Here are the 10 things that you need to know for Tuesday. Your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that are going to be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow too for that matter. Now, first up is who may be shifting his tone on immigration. Well, Donald Trump is promising to be fair but firm toward the estimated 11 million immigrants living in the United States illegally. And long, hard slog of storm recovery is underway across South Louisiana. As the record flood water subside, residents gut waterlogged homes in brutal heat and sift through personal belongings to find what's salvageable. And whose sponsorships go down the drain? Well, you can guess. Speedo and 3 other companies dump U.S. swimmer Ryan Lochte in the aftermath of a drunken incident that he initially tried to pass off as an armed robbery. Well, Turkey vows to cleanse the border of Islamic militant state militants. Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu says that Turkey has become an Islamic State target due to measures that it has implemented to stop recruits from crossing into Syria to join the fighting, as well as arrests of hundreds of IS suspects in Turkey. Well, a judge blocks Obama's LGBT rules. A U.S. district judge issues temporary injunction barring the Obama administration's order allowing transgender students to use the bathrooms and locker rooms consistent with their chosen gender identity. Yep. Well, how about this? Why thrill rides are getting more scrutiny. The death of a boy on a Kansas water slide and a Ferris wheel accident that injured 3 girls in Tennessee focus attention on the lack of amusement ride regulations. And counterfeit pain pills likely came to Prince illegally. Exactly how Prince obtained the powerful synthetic opiate fentanyl, I guess it is still unknown 4 months after he died of an overdose. Well, firefighter shortage hits California as wildfires rage. Low pay and larger, more dangerous blazes are leading to staff shortages, state fire officials said. Let's see here. We just got an AP alert. Says South Korea military says North Korea has test-fired a submarine-launched ballistic missile. Well, who knows? What the heck's going on with that kind of stuff? How about this? What could shape the way millennials actually vote? Just 5% of young adults say that America is greater than it has ever been, while 52% feel the nation is falling behind, and 24% believe the U.S. is failing, a Gen Forward poll finds. Well, finally, Ethiopia says protesting marathoner will be welcomed as a hero, but Faisa Lelisa, who made an anti-government gesture at the Rio Games while approaching the finish line, says he may be killed or imprisoned if he ever returns to the East African country. Well, you know what? This world is just weird. Can you imagine an athlete can't, or anybody can't just say what they want? Well, at least that's not the way here in the United States. Well, you know what? Let's get a little bit more in depth. Many donors to the Clinton Foundation met with her at state. More than half the people outside the government who met with Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State gave money, either personally or through companies or groups, to the Clinton Foundation. It's an extraordinary proportion indicating her possible ethics challenges if elected president. At least 85 of 154 people from private interests who met or had phone conversations scheduled with Clinton while she led the State Department donated to her family charity or pledged commitments to its international programs, according to a review of State Department calendars released so far to the Associated Press. Combined, the 85 donors contributed as much as $156 million. At least 40 donated more than $100,000 each, and 20 gave more than $1 million. Wow. Donors were granted time with Clinton, included an internationally known economist who asked for her help as the Bangladesh government pressured him to resign from a nonprofit bank that he ran. A Wall Street executive who sought Clinton's help with a visa problem, and Estee Lauder executives who were listed as meeting with Clinton while her department worked with the firm's corporate charity to counter gender-based violence in South Africa. Wow. And it goes on and on and on. Well, unfortunately, where there's smoke, there's fire. And you know what? And it's just the way it is, right? Just the way it is. Well, Trump aides covertly fought freeing of a Ukraine prisoner. For more than 3 years, lobbyist Jim Slattery worked in Washington to secure the release of Ukraine of the imprisoned political rival of the country's then president. He said the work was sometimes harder than expected. I had a sense that there were people working on the other side, he said, but they were doing it pretty secretively. Slattery's hunch was right. His unknown opponent, the consulting firm run by Donald Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, and his deputy Rick Gates, now the campaign's liaison to the Republican National Committee. Manafort resigned last week, shortly after disclosures by the Associated Press about his firm's covert lobbying on behalf of Ukraine's pro-Russian government at that time. Now, you know what? This just keeps getting... this is like a soap opera, for God's sakes. It's just crazy. Well, let me do this one before we take our break. Obama vows support for Louisiana after the cameras leave. Standing amid piles of waterlogged debris, President Barack Obama today promised a sustained national effort to rebuild flood-ravaged southern Louisiana, even after the TV cameras leave on a visit aimed in part at stemming campaign season criticism that he's been slow to respond to the disaster. As he toured a battered neighborhood and spoke to local officials, Obama tried to buck up beleaguered residents of the water-soaked region. This is not a one-off. This is not a photo-op issue. I need all Americans to stay focused on this, he said. I know how resilient the people of Louisiana are, and I know that you will rebuild again. Well, here. Truth is, Obama is getting a lot of flack because of this, but the truth is that the governor of Louisiana asked him to delay his arrival so that the more important emergency services could be had. Now, when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about a prisoner not seen publicly since 2002 at the Gitmo hearing, and I'll tell you all about that after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:12 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 92. On its way to 62. That'll be nice. But right now, we're talking news. You know what? A prisoner not seen publicly since 2002 at the Guantanamo Bay hearing. You know, a Palestinian not seen publicly since his capture by the CIA in 2002 appeared today at a U.S. government hearing called to determine whether he should remain in detention at the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Abu Zubaydah, who sat expressionless during the brief hearing, was the first high-profile al-Qaeda terror suspect captured after the attacks of September 11, 2001, and the first to vanish into the CIA's secret black site prison network. The review panel issued no immediate ruling on the status. He has been held at Guantanamo Bay since September 2006. The U.S. believed that Zubaydah, 45 years old, was one of the most senior figures in al-Qaeda when he was captured in Pakistan. It has since dropped that claim. Zubaydah's lawyers deny he was a member of al-Qaeda. Following his capture, the CIA under President George W. Bush initiated an interrogation program, now widely viewed as torture. Under this once secret program, Zubaydah was subjected to what the Bush administration called enhanced interrogation in the belief that he was withholding information about al-Qaeda. A Senate report released in 2014 said that belief was false. Wow. You know what? And he's been there all this time. I'm not sure what anybody expects beyond that. It is what it is, I suppose. Well, private lives are exposed as WikiLeaks spills its secrets. Boy, it goes on and on and on. Nothing is sacred, I guess. You know what? WikiLeaks' giant data dumps have rattled the National Security Agency, the U.S. Democratic Party, and the Saudi Foreign Ministry, but its spectacular mass disclosures have also included the personal information of hundreds of people, including sick children, rape victims, and mental health patients, the Associated Press has found found out? Well, in the past year alone, the Radical Transparency Group has published medical files belonging to scores of ordinary citizens, while many hundreds more have had sensitive family, financial, or identity records posted on the web. In two particularly egregious cases, WikiLeaks named teenage rape victims. In a third case, the site published the name of a Saudi citizen arrested for being gay, an extraordinary move given that homosexuality can lead to social ostracism, a prison sentence, or even death in the ultra-conservative Muslim kingdom. They published everything, my phone, address, name, details, said a Saudi man who told the Associated Press that he was bewildered that WikiLeaks had revealed the details of a paternity dispute with a former partner. If the family of my wife saw this, publishing personal stuff like that could destroy people. Wow. Can you imagine? WikiLeaks just, there's no, I guess just no control over them. I believe in freedom of the press, but I don't think I believe in freedom to hurt. And isn't that what's going on there? That's ridiculous. Well, Turkey and the Syrian Kurds are on track for conflict in northern Syria. Turkey signaled today it would step up its engagement in the Syrian war as Turkish-backed Syrian rebels massed along the border to assault one of the last Syrian frontier towns held by Islamic State militants. Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu pledged every kind of support for operations against the Islamic State along a 100-kilometer, 62 miles, stretch of Syrian frontier, putting the NATO member on track for a confrontation with the U.S.-backed Kurdish fighters in Syria, who have been the most effective force against IS and who are eyeing the same territory. Yeah, goes figure, right? Yeah, it does. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Well, fists, not football. Brain injuries seen in domestic assaults. There are no bomb blasts or collisions with burly linemen in Susan Contreras' past. Her headaches, memory loss, and bouts of confused thinking were a mystery until doctors suggested a probable cause. Domestic violence. A former partner repeatedly beat her, she says. He would hit me mainly in the head so that nobody would see the injuries. He'd hit me in the back of the head so the bruises wouldn't show, the Phoenix woman said. The abuse from her ex-partner took a heavy emotional toll. Contreras says, but even though he sometimes knocked her out, she hadn't considered that her brain might have been as damaged as her psyche. Honestly, there's so many holes in my memory thinking problem, she said. My memory is just really gone. Brain trauma in domestic violence survivors has been overshadowed by concerns about injuries in Iraq and Afghanistan war vets and by effects of repeatedly head blows in football players. Experts believe many cases go undetected and untreated in abused women, making them vulnerable to problems with thinking, mood, and behavior. Can you imagine? I hadn't given it any thought. Serious issue. Yeah. Well, let me leave you with this one. The feds want to ban swimming with Hawaii dolphins. Federal regulators are proposing to ban swimming with dolphins in Hawaii, a move that could imperil one of the Aloha State's most popular tourist activities and industries that has sprung up around it. The National Marine Fisheries Service says spinner dolphins, the playful natural species that humans in Hawaii routinely frolic with, are being deprived of rest during the day and becoming stressed out. Swimming with dolphins is popular with visitors and some locals, with dozens of companies on Kauai, Oahu, Maui, and the Big Island operating dolphin tours daily. The proposed rule could shut down or greatly disrupt the industry as it now operates. That's because the ban would cover waters out to 2 nautical miles, which is where 98% of Hawaii's spinner dolphins rest after they've spent the night feeding. Tour companies take customers to these close-to-shore waters to find the dolphins. Well, we'll see what happens. In any event, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do the IRS loses. First case is there's no penalty for an honest mistake. Yep, I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:23 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Went up a little bit. It's down from 93, though, and it's on the way to 64 degrees. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, it's 79 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, it's 80 degrees and mostly cloudy. But you know what? We've got some great things for you. Let's talk about the IRS loser.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, now, I just love this part of the show because it just sends the hair up on the back of my neck. And I just love it. Nobody wants to hear about the IRS winning, for God's sakes. So let's get right to it. The first case that the IRS lost, there's no penalty for an honest mistake. So here's the case. George Sabota exercised stock options to receive $75,000 of income that was taxable as wages, but he didn't understand the tax law and reported it as a tax-favored capital gain. When the IRS increased his tax bill, it added a 20% penalty. He protested, went to court. This is what the judge said. Mr. Savoda's mistaken reporting of the income resulted from an honest misunderstanding of the law that is reasonable in light of his experience or lack thereof in knowledge and education. Since there was reasonable cause explaining the good faith error, the penalty is lifted. Sometimes the IRS, they have the option not to do these things. They just do them, period. That's the way it goes. How about this? The IRS loses. They cannot collect non-payment penalties when no return was even filed. Here's the case. Charles Wheeler didn't file a tax return to report his retirement income of more than $40,000. The IRS assessed tax. He filed a case in tax court, and the court decided the amount of the tax that he actually owed. The IRS then sought penalties for non-payment of the tax and of estimated taxes. Well, he went to court. This is what the judge said. The non-payment of tax penalty is based on the amount of tax due as shown on the return. But Wheeler didn't file a tax return, and the IRS hadn't filed a substitute return for him. Similarly, the minimum estimated tax payment due are based on the prior year's return, but the IRS hadn't put one into evidence. So the penalties cannot be collected. There you go. Let me give you another one. This is one the IRS conceded. Now, you've heard me say many, many times, the IRS only concedes when they're pretty sure they can't prevail in court, and that's what's going on right here. In this case, an auditor can consider unfiled forms to shift an exemption for a child of divorced parents. When divorced parents have a child, the non-custodial parent can claim a dependency exemption for the child unless the parent with the custody signs Form 8332. That's the release of claim of exemption for a child of divorced or separated parents, or a similar statement. Anyway, IRS regulations then require that this form be attached to the return of the custodial parent who claims the exemption. Now, here's the IRS's legal opinion. When parents dispute who gets the exemption, an auditor can consider a signed Form 8332 even if it wasn't properly attached to a return as evidence of who should get the exemption on their merits, with the non-custodial parent remaining eligible. Keep in mind, though, that this Form 8332, it's got two boxes. One box gives you that exemption for this year and this year only. The other box, if it gets checked, gives you the exemption forever. Yeah, so you want to be careful. I'll give you one last one here. The IRS loses. 6-hour layovers make away-from-home expenses deductible. A ferry captain on Puget Sound, Washington, worked 17-hour days and runs completed within 24 hours that included a 6-hour layover at an away-from-home port. He paid for his own meals and deducted them and other costs as away-from-home travel expenses, but the IRS disallowed the deduction, saying he was never away from home. He had used no premises or hotel room in the distant port, but only slept on the boat when necessary. So he went to court. This is what the judge said. The captain did sleep during the layovers, and the need to sleep on a trip is a test of being away from home, for tax purposes anyway. The fact that he slept on the boat didn't matter. So the captain, yep, he qualifies. You bet. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS, just a little bit like the Twilight Zone. Yeah, well, these are not tax court cases, but these are things that the IRS has done, and it's set a precedence, and they're recorded, and so you want to be aware of them a little bit. You ever think about leasing versus buying equipment for your business? Even though a transaction structured as a lease, the IRS may take a position that you really purchased that asset. Now, there's a consequence to it. Instead of deducting the entire monthly lease payments, you're going to be required to depreciate the cost of the asset using IRS guidelines. Now, the IRS will generally challenge a leasing transaction if you're able to purchase the equipment for a nominal fee at the end of the lease. Now, here's a strategy for you. Ask your accountant to help you to structure the lease to make sure that it will survive the IRS challenge. That's really what you want to do. How about this? When a tax return is fraudulently prepared, the accountant who prepared the tax return may be susceptible to pressure from the IRS agent who discovers that he or she helped the taxpayer coordinate a transaction that resulted in tax evasion. So here's an example for you. The accountant advised the taxpayer that business deposits made into the checking account should be classified as loan payments to avoid reflecting them as income on the tax return. When faced with going to jail, the accountant's more likely to tell the IRS agent everything he wants to hear. So the self-defense here, when a tax return was fraudulently prepared, the accountant who prepared it should never represent the taxpayer before the IRS. The taxpayer should hire an experienced tax attorney who will be able to rely on attorney-client privilege to avoid providing incriminating information to the IRS. That's where you really want to be. Now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own favorite, Sean LaFave, and his Geared for Wellness Corner. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. In the meantime, see if you can dream up and see what we're going to talk about, because I have no idea.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between, the nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 93 degrees on its way to 64 degrees. But you know what? If you're on the intersection of nowhere, somewhere, and anywhere, and you happen to be in Wichita, Kansas, well, it's currently 87 degrees with scattered clouds, and it's humid out there. And if you're in Torrance, California, it's 79 degrees and clear. But you know what? No matter where you are in the world, you can hear us and my good buddy Sean Lefebvre in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Hey, Sean, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Robert. How are you doing?
I am. You know what? I am terrific. You know what? I'm like that Tony the Tiger. I'm great.
Great.
So how
awesome, man.
Yeah. So listen, you're getting all set for a fantastic weekend, I'm guessing.
Set for a fantastic weekend or a fantastic weekend?
No, you're getting set for a fantastic weekend. This last weekend, you said you weren't going to do anything but just lay around.
And that's pretty much what I did. So, yeah, this past weekend I did. You know, I got creative. And every now and then I like to try something completely different. And I made some lasagna a little over a week ago. And Sally's got a daughter who's 21 years old, and I've never heard of a person who doesn't like marinara sauce. She just doesn't like it. She doesn't like it on anything. So she, I guess I'm sure there are probably other people in the world, but I've just never met one before. And so she actually didn't eat any of those on it because she just doesn't like the red sauce in anything. So I thought, well, I said to you, and I know she likes chicken as opposed to the sausage. She's not a big pork person. And I said, well, do you like Alfredo sauce? And she said, I love Alfredo sauce. I said, all right, let's try something different. We'll make a chicken Alfredo lasagna.
That sounds good. Wait a minute. You know what? I'm getting hungry. Did you ship some of that to me?
I'm gonna have it frozen to about the same temperature as dry ice, so that it doesn't thaw out in the process. Okay. And then I'll ship it to you. Yeah, actually, I've got to refine it. I will say you would probably like this, but you would probably be able to critique it, and rightly so, because it's the first time I've ever seen anybody even try to make this.
I never look a gift horse in the mouth, especially if it's food.
Well, yeah, I'm the same way too. That's kind of been a philosophy of, and it gets me in trouble sometimes, but my philosophy for a long time is, if it's edible, eat it. If it's free, eat as much as you can.
Because you never know when you'll get that opportunity again.
yeah, that was back in my powerlifting days. That was definitely my philosophy. It's I love to eat, and when you're lifting those heavy weights and working out as much as we did, you could pound away the calories. I had buddies that these are guys who are on steroids and probably doing. So I don't know if you know this. A lot of bodybuilders, they do insulin because it helps them process more calories.
Oh, really? A lot more. I didn't know that.
Yeah, insulin is it makes you huge, guys.
But isn't that dangerous? If
oh yeah, of course it's dangerous. Yeah, these guys are. I mean, these professional bodybuilders that you see winning like the Mr. Olympia and stuff, they're doing steroids, but they're also doing growth hormone and insulin and all kinds of stuff. But I knew these guys at this gym. I was always one of those natural guys. I never did any type of steroids or any type of drugs at all. And so I obviously never got huge, but the guys that I knew that were on it, they would eat 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 calories a day.
Good Lord, you have got to be kidding! Yeah. That's about a week's worth.
Yeah,
that's 5 days anyway. 4 or 5 days anyway.
But you're talking guys like one of them, this guy Brian. He was the owner of one of the gyms I worked at, and he's 6'2". He had a 32-inch waist and wore a size 54 jacket.
You have got to be joking.
No, he was just a monster.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a beast. He was just a beast, and I mean, just you look at him, you're like, wow, he's just you're like, how is that even? But that, again, that's that's steroids and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, but back then when I was looking, I just had to eat as much food as I could to try to get as strong as possible, and it was a lot of fun. But nowadays, I try to kind of control that urge a little bit more. So I did make this chicken Alfredo lasagna, and it turned out pretty good. It was a little kind of it kind of fell, like it wasn't as stout and it didn't hold together like normal lasagna. And I think it's maybe the Alfredo sauce maybe made it a little too kind of moist or something. But and I chopped the chicken up really, really small, and I think I'm going to try it again another day and maybe make some changes, maybe kind of taper down the amount of cheese or the type. I used ricotta and everything else in it like I would with regular lasagna, and I think it was all that was too much milk base in there. So I'm going to try it again. And
well, you know what? The best chefs do exactly what you're saying. The finest chefs in the world, they take something and they think it up, and then they have to start modifying it to fine tune it. That's exactly what you're doing. Nothing wrong with that, bud.
Yep. So, gosh, I need to open my own restaurant, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm known for my grilled cheese sandwich, so I can at least start out with a grilled cheese sandwich. I can get one of those trucks, and drive around and make grilled cheese for people all day long. That's actually one of my favorite things. Sourdough bread and get, like a blended cheeses. And oh man, I love making grilled cheese sandwiches. Sometimes the simplest meals are the best ones. I love, I've got this, I love making egg sandwiches, and I make a variety of different, I'll make a breakfast burrito, and in the burrito, I'll put, scrambled eggs and sauteed onions, and I'll put some salsa in there. I'll put some hash browns in there. I'll put some bacon in there, and wrap that whole thing up and eat it. It's fantastic. On an egg sandwich, I'll just, I'll take and fry an egg and break the yolk in it, and then I'll fry some ham, and I'll take the ham, and then I'll take some American cheese. I'll put the American cheese down. I'll put the ham down. I'll put the egg down, and of course I put a little bit of mayonnaise on both sides of the bread, and I'll eat that. And it is just one of the best doggone breakfast sandwiches you ever had. Now, if you tried a different cheese, I'd be right there with you. American cheese, I've never liked. Even as a kid, I didn't like American cheese. I don't know what it is. I just can't stand the stuff.
Oh, we'll put Swiss on there for you. We'll put Gruyere, anything, any kind you like. Mozzarella, if that's what kicks you. The other thing, and I just started doing this, and you try it. It's really simple. You go ahead and whip the eggs like you're going to make an omelet. Put a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of milk in it, but whip them like you're going to make an omelet. But 2 eggs, and then but even though they call this scrambled eggs, but it's really like an omelet. And then you toast the bread. You put a thin layer of mayonnaise on both slices of bread, and then a thin layer of prepared mustard on top of the mayonnaise. And then you take that omelet and you just lay it down on that bread. You'll be shocked at what a wonderful taste that is.
Oh, I make stuff very similar. You're talking that's my favorite. First of all, omelets are probably my favorite thing to have for breakfast. I love, you can make so many, there's such an endless combination of things
my favorite omelet is a chili and cheese omelet. Oh,
that sounds really good.
Yeah,
I've actually had that.
Hey, so welcome to the Wichita Cooking Show.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we need to start our own cooking show. Forget all this health stuff.
Hey, I did want to ask you something. I saw it in the news, and it's, I don't know why it kind of got beyond us. You and I've talked so many times about the concussions and the problems with concussions and football and all this stuff going on. And there's one area of concussions that we haven't talked about. I actually saw it in the news today, and it deals with domestic violence, battered wives, the husbands that they knock them out, they hit them in the head, any place where it's not going to show. And it's turned out to be a real issue.
Yeah, it is a real issue. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's just one of those things that, it's unfortunately, it's probably never going to end.
Yeah.
The only solution, you're not going to change people's nature. There's always going to be people in the world who were raised in a in a way that they just do stupid stuff like that. And, guys who just have that propensity and you can try to educate them all day long and they're not going to change. And women who are going to put up with it. I think the key there is just really, you got to educate, men to look, you don't treat women like that. I mean, it's, they learn that. That's a learned behavior. You learn it from your parents. And as a society, we certainly got to educate that, but it's really got to start more at home than anywhere else.
And how much of that do you think? I'm going to actually probably create an issue here. How much of that I can remember when the women's lib just started up, when women's rights just started up, and all of a sudden, women weren't held up on that pedestal anymore. They didn't want to have doors open for them. They didn't want to have their meals purchased for them. They didn't want to do and they wanted to do things on their own, and they kind of knocked themselves off a pedestal. And I wonder if that didn't even make this domestic violence that much worse.
Yeah, I'm sure it definitely changed the face of it. Whether it made it worse or made it different or what. I can't imagine. I honestly can't imagine that it helped because a man who's got a propensity to do that, he's doing that because he's angry. And if you're going to stand up to him and tell him, "Well, I can do anything you can do," well, he's probably going to beat you down and until you can't. So I would imagine.
Oh yeah, but I'll tell you what. If I'm ever anywhere, and I'm pretty sure you're probably the same way. If I'm ever anywhere, and I am witnessing abuse, a woman being smacked around by a guy, I'm going to step in. You can bet on it.
Oh yeah. I actually was at. It's rarely you see. Typically, stuff like that doesn't happen out in public, But every now and then you'll see. And I saw a guy, and he was just being a jerk. He was screaming at this woman, and he was yelling at the kids, and he was just belittling her. And I just kind of stopped, and I was just kind of watching him, And I'm like, well, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to let the guy know that, hey, you've got an audience. If you want to be stupid, just know there's a witness here. And that guy, as soon as he got in his truck, started driving away. He turned his anger towards me, started flipping me off, and telling me what an a-hole I was, and on and on and on, and blah blah blah. And I just kept staring at him as I was walking in my car, and the guys like that, they're unfortunately they're cowards.
Yeah.
They will they are just flat out cowards, and so it's funny when I talk to. Of course, most guys, when we think of libs, you're not going to find many guys that are like, "Oh, that was the greatest thing ever." You'll find some women who say, "It was great, it was empowering," and I think a lot of women, are, I would say probably a smaller percentage than otherwise that would say it was a good thing that had a good outcome. But most women that I talk to will tell you they're like, it really did a lot more damage than good. Yeah. And you look at what's going on with women nowadays. I know we're talking about the domestic violence, but women are experiencing the same thing that men have experienced. They're experiencing heart disease, and they're experiencing even male pattern baldness women are getting, and so they're getting a lot of the same diseases and a lot of stress and the same, strokes. And in fact, Sally and I were just literally talking about an article yesterday that we both read on the same day. It was just really weird that we both, and it was kind of weird that we both, it wasn't like a newspaper sitting in the house. It was something we both found online, but it was an article about this woman says, ever since I stopped drinking, I realized why women drink as much as they do. And she went on in the article, she talked about, the stresses of work and this and that and on and on. And she goes, these women the women's lib movement that burned their bras and, did this and on and on. And she talked about that commercial. If you remember, it was, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan and never let you forget you're a man. Yeah. Remember that commercial? Yep. And she goes, I blame most of this stuff on that woman. She goes, it's her fault. She goes, now we're supposed to hold down a good job, have a perfect home and have sex with our husband. She goes, realistically, you just need to figure out which two you want to do and outsource the third one.
Oh, Lord.
Which was funny.
I don't even want to think about this.
but it's true. Women are stressed nowadays because of that movement, and I'm sure the last thing they want to do is put up with a guy who comes home who's in a bad mood. She's probably going to be more apt to speak her mind, and unfortunately, like I said, a guy who's going to do that is going to do that. And has it made it worse? I don't know if it's made it worse, but I know that it's a huge problem. And I think the thing that should have come out of this women's lib movement that I don't know, I don't see it, if it did come out of it, is women, and that's the flip side. I talked about educating the men, but really the women need to understand, you don't put up with this. It happens once, that's it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen the second time.
You know what? I have conversations. I have conversations with my wife all the time that I don't understand. Why does a woman stay in a situation like that? And it's got to be insecurity or threats, or they don't know where to go or what to do.
Exactly, and that's actually, gosh, man, we should have a segment on this. We could actually have Sally on, and we wouldn't be able to get her to shut up. But
that's okay. That's okay.
She gives some great insight. That's actually her specialty. Is she has her master's in family therapy, and that's actually why I made a joke one time, and I'll even say it because if she's listening, she's going to get fuming mad that I even repeated this on the show. But I sent her this little meme that I saw on Facebook because I thought it was funny, and it is funny, but when it's a subject that's very sensitive to you, like I see things on Facebook that people post and they think it's funny and their friends think it's funny, and I look at it and I go, that's not funny, that's stupid, that's ridiculous, that's horrible, you know. Yeah. But it's the thing was that I like my beer like I like my violence, domestic, and so, ouch. Which obviously is meant to be funny, but for a person that's a sensitive issue, it's not funny. So I got chewed out for it was a pretty good amount of time for that one. So I've never said anything that distasteful, and I'll just say distasteful, especially since I know she's going to listen, or she's not listening right now. But that's actually her area of specialty, and I bet you, if you really want to find out more about that, her and I have had lengthy discussions about this, and I think she can really add a lot to that, because it really
I think that'd be a good show.
It is a health issue. I mean, it's a mental health issue, but it's also, we talked about the lead exposure and how lead, leads towards violence and poor decisions. And that's all that domestic violence is. It's violence and poor decisions rolled into one big old ball of just horribleness. Yeah. And so
I think that'd be
so she knows she's got an invite to come on the show. We'll figure out when.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be an interesting show. You ever wonder why it is that for some reason women take care, they're in charge of the kids, and they're in charge of the kitchen, and they're in charge of the groceries, and men are in charge of the lawn, and they're in charge of the garage, and they're in the fix up stuff. I'm not sure how that all got relegated.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I am an exception, because I was the caregiver for my son. Whenever he was sick, I was the one who stayed home. In fact, I was a stay-at-home dad with him for about 2.5 years, well over 2 years anyway. And I was actually I'm the one that loves to do the grocery shopping, and
that's me too. And that's me too.
I find the grocery store therapeutic. I can just walk around, and if it takes me 4 hours to find 10 things, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. This is the grocery store. It's a happy place.
Yeah, I do. I do almost literally 99% of the cooking and the grocery shopping, and because it's something that I enjoy. I just really enjoy it. It's not, and my wife's a good cook. I just enjoy it.
When I went out to go visit my mom, when I went and stayed with her for that almost week that I was out there, I went grocery shopping, I think every single day when I was out there. That's my preferred way. I like to do grocery shopping almost every day. I hate doing a big, huge basket full once a week. That drives me crazy. But she's got right down the street from her house a Kroger, which, out here they have Dillon's is owned by Kroger, and out there we have Ralph's, which is owned by Kroger. Kroger's nationwide. So she has a big Kroger store, and I walked in and I saw something I've never seen at a grocery store anywhere in the country, and I was excited, because when you walk in the middle of the store, in the front middle of the store, was the produce section.
Really?
I've never seen the produce section in the center of the store. And now it's like, this is really cool. I walk in and there's all the fruits and vegetables right there. It was like, I thought I had to look around. I go, did I just walk into heaven, or is this a grocery store that's confused? I was like, this is awesome. I don't even have to walk to the one. I don't have to figure out which side I want to go on to go get my fruits and vegetables. They're right there in the middle. It was so exciting. Yeah. But most grocery stores, they say, if you want to eat healthier, just stay on the periphery and stay, along the outside, and you're, for the most part, do fairly well.
Yeah, the thing is that grocery stores are configured in such a way that the things that you have to get are way on the other side of the store to make you walk through these aisles and see things that hopefully you discover that you just can't live without. That's not what you went there for.
There's a reason why the milk is in the very back of the store and not next to the registers.
You got it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, no, it is interesting, how but you look at, historically speaking, even in obviously in human roles, but in any roles, all animals, the male, female roles are slightly different. And I think men have always been the hunter gatherers, the hunters, and the women are the, I guess more of the gatherers, and women just, I think, have that nurturing nature about them more so to stay home and take care of the kids. They tend to do better,
But birds, the male birds actually fly around and protect the nest, while the female birds go out and get the food and regurgitate it into the young's mouths and feed the young.
Exactly. And the lioness does more of the hunting.
Yep.
The lion eats more.
But the lion protects the lair. It's not really a lair. A pride. The lion protects the pride, but the lioness gets the food.
Yep, goes out and hunts. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I'm sure there must be a reason why I don't think it's something that someone sat down and said, "Okay, women, you're going to do this." I think it's just a naturally evolved process of who was a better fit for it, generally speaking, and that's just how it worked out, and then that evolved to, something that really is, you talk about, the health of people. I saw a sign somewhere the other day. I don't know if it was a billboard or what it was, but it talked about, basically sitting all day, and it said in parentheses, your job is, your number one risk factor for health problems, and that it's killing you. And, we've evolved in this, this culture of people who have these roles that are there, traditionally, I know women don't stay at home as much as they used to, but that used to be the tradition. Like, let's go back to the 50s, where it was more popular, and the men went out and they worked in an office.
With all due respect, women stayed home, but they did the washing, they did the cleaning, they did the shopping, they did the cooking, they raised the kids, did all that stuff. Then the husband, who went to the office and sat on his ass all day long, came home and said, "I'm tired," and then got on the couch and sat on his ass all night long.
Right, exactly, and watch TV. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. And look what it's done. I mean, the divorce rate just continued going up and up and up. But it used to be, go back, back to, let's go to the 1800s. Because I know we had the industrial era. In the 1900s, it kind of changed everything. But you go back to the 1800s, and there was nothing like that. People had their family farms, and maybe there was the local town. There was the guy who was the farrier, and there was the guy who had a butcher shop, and there was the guy who made the bread, and they had these local shops maybe that would get some minor supplies, but if you needed something, you built it, and the family worked together. And,
absolutely. Listen, we got to take a short break. We'll be right back with Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness corner, the cooking corner, the travel corner, the news corner, the political corner. You know what? We'll just talk whatever the heck we want to talk about. We'll talk about. We'll be right back with Sean after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. On its way down to 66 degrees. Can't hardly wait for that. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, well, you're lucky for one thing, and it's 73 degrees and clear. And if you're in Rome, Italy, you're still lucky, and it's 73 degrees and clear. And if you're in Wichita, Kansas, oh well. Anyway, and we're with our good buddy Sean LaFave in the Here's Wellness Corner. Oh yeah, you are. No matter where you are, you're lucky.
Well, that's true. I am.
Yeah.
I'm extremely fortunate. I agree.
Wait a minute. You're extremely what?
Fortunate.
Oh, fortunate. God, I thought you said succulent.
No, well, I don't. Maybe I'm that too.
No. Sally might have referred to you that way. Yeah.
You can ask her when she's on the show.
Yeah.
You can. I'll let her put up with all your shenanigans for an hour.
hey, you know why not? Why not? But
somebody else has got it for once.
Yeah. So listen, what are we going to talk about in this segment of the show?
Well, you sent me some articles and sent me some from yesterday and today, and then I think you even sent me some from last week that I never even got to, and I don't know, some are really interesting. Like there's this one here. The Hawaiian authorities are urging awareness of raw food risk. First of all, like people don't know that eating raw food comes with risk. Of course it does, but this one was specifically about some. Oh my gosh, what were they? All of a sudden, I can't think of what they were. It was at a sushi restaurant. Anyway, the food was it had hepatitis.
Yes.
It was, oh my gosh, what was the food? All of a sudden, I can't even, scallops, that's what it was. It was scallops. There was these scallops, and like 140 some odd people got sick from it or something like that. And I get it, it's like something you definitely, I know there were people that wanted to sue the restaurant, but they were able to go, look, this came specifically from, it was in Hawaii, but it came from a producer, I believe it was back in Japan, was the one that sold them and that's where it originated from. So I don't know how you can really sue everyone's so sue happy. This is what kills me. This is from the Philippines, not Japan. It's from the Philippines. This is what kills me. It's like everyone's like, oh, wait, they want to sue this restaurant. And I'm going, you ate raw food. You know that there's a chance. It's going to be handled by God knows how many people. And it's hepatitis A. If it was hepatitis C, I could see you kind of being a little losing your mind. I get that. But it's hepatitis A. That's something that you get a fever, you maybe get like a little bit of cold out of it, and give it a few days, and it's like having the flu. It goes its own way, and it's not. Hepatitis C is something that takes a long time to get rid of, and they do make drugs that are very expensive. But I don't know. People losing their mind over hepatitis A is, to me, something that's kind of seems a little unnecessary, because hepatitis A really is.
You got it because you were careless, and you deserved it because you were careless. And if you had cooked that food, you probably wouldn't have gotten it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you've got to understand that there is a risk. You can literally get worms from eating oysters, but I'm not going to stop eating raw oysters.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop. I eat all kinds. I love sushi. Oh man, sushi's awesome.
Yeah, I do too. I like sushi. I like carpaccio. I like oysters. I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
I have this saying. If it doesn't move before I put it in my mouth, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it doesn't try to run away while I'm eating it, even then I'd probably give it a shot.
Well, I'd shoot it. That's for sure.
So, I don't know. The funny thing was that I don't know if you've ever been to one of these places. I know they're starting to get more of them here in the U.S., but this particular restaurant in Hawaii is one of those ones. And the first one that I ever went to like this was in Japan, where you've got the sushi chefs. And they're kind of surrounded by this they're like kind of in the middle of an island, if you will, mm-hmm. and they're surrounded by this conveyor belts, and all around the outside of the conveyor belt are tables. So there's like a booth. Mm-hmm. So one end of the booth is open, the other end of the booth, where it would normally be a wall, is actually the top of a conveyor belt, and they make the sushi. Now, the place that I went to had they had like blue, red, and yellow plates, I think were the colors. Mm-hmm. And each one was like, it was 1 yen or 2 yen or 3 yen. Mm-hmm. And so depending on what sushi you wanted, you would, as it went by on the plate, on the conveyor belt, you would just grab it, and you would set it down in front of you, and you would eat it, and then you would stack your plates up next to where you were eating. And when you were done, the server would come by and count your plates and say, you had, so $24
cool.
worth of 20.
That is
you've never been to one of those, huh?
No.
Yeah, and if there's something specific that you want and you're watching and it's not going by, you can just flag down the chef and say, hey, can I get, whatever? Can I get one of these? Can I get some, yellowfin tuna or whatever it is specifically you want? And they'll make it for you, and so that way you can have it. But for the most part, pretty much everything you're going to want is, they're just sitting there. These guys are just.
They just keep making it and put it on the conveyor belt. You know what? And with my luck, what I really want, the guy in front of me would have taken it.
Oh, of course. We did something funny. We were having a good time, and we took my buddy's camera and he put it in video mode, mm-hmm. and set it on the conveyor belt so that it took a video of everybody as it went by. There was actually one thing.
That would be really
good. Well, it actually picked it up, and they were being goofy, but then they set it back down, which made it even more fun. But yeah, those places are payoff. I imagine they've got to have them in your area, because I would be willing to bet there's at least one in Pasadena.
Oh, what's the name of it?
Well, I don't. This one here,
they're different ones.
Genki Sushi, Genki. But if you just look up. In fact, when we're done talking, I'll see if I can find one in your area, and I'll let you know where there's one. But they're so much fun to go to, because it's just neat to go. That looks good. I wonder what that is. And just grab it, and you might try something you wouldn't normally try because it just looks appealing.
Yeah.
So. But, anyway, so all that about the risk of eating raw food. I'm still going to eat raw food, and it's never going to change, and I love it. And, and if I get a little, even food poisoning, I'm one of these people, like my son had got food poisoning at, I can't remember the name of the restaurant. It's one of these nation kind of.
I got food poisoning at Tony Roma's once, and I have not eaten at a Tony Roma's again.
See, I
got so sick. Huh?
I've gotten food poisoning and gone back to the same place before. So I'm one of these people that doesn't associate my pain with that. It was maybe a bad meal I got that one time.
Well, yeah, and that's probably what happened. Except that I got so sick, and I have such a variety of places to go to. I don't need to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you got your lots of other choices, I guess you just stay away from what caused you pain. But Vickers was Joe's Crab Shack, which they're kind of all over the country.
Yeah,
and he went there once. got food poisoning the one time that he went there, and every time we see that place, he's like, I will never go there again. I'm like, it was years ago you got food poisoning. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's still open, right?
I don't want to go.
It's still open, so not everybody's getting food poisoning.
Exactly. If it's still there, probably most of the people aren't getting food poisoning. But yeah. So anyway.
Well, I mean, here, if you think about it, though, Sean, you probably still eat oranges and peaches and apples and bananas and carrots and nuts and right. You're not cooking those things, are you? I mean, you may be, but
we've had people getting all kinds of food poisoning from tainted. Remember the tainted spinach about what was that 10 years ago? It was actually from California, I think.
Yeah,
and it was that packaged spinach, and we've had problem with tomatoes. They said the problem boils down to is the farm workers, the migrant farm workers are because they get paid by how much they produce, not by the hour.
Yeah.
When they got to go to the bathroom, they just go right there in the field. Well, of course, that stuff gets on the food, and so that's what was contaminated. But so people got it from raw tomatoes and just probably about raw everything. But you still gotta eat. You still gotta eat.
Yep.
So what else? So speaking of food poisoning and dying. Okay, maybe not dying, but you did send me an article that I thought was very interesting. It was an art exhibition in L.A. That this guy went around and took pictures of people just before they died. They died. Yeah. And in fact, of all the people that he photographed, there's one woman who's 63, and she's the only one that's still alive out of everybody that he's photographed. So he's got these pictures of all these people up in his art gallery that are all dead, and he kind of got to reflect on some of their wisdom and.
It was.
I wanted to make it go look.
He went to people who dealt with it. Wasn't the deal? They weren't necessarily old people, but they were people that diagnosed with terminal illnesses, and they were interviewed about their mindset and the things that they had experienced in their lives and what their attitudes were now.
Right, exactly. And he said, I think it was all but one of them. Said that I'm not afraid to die. It's okay. They come to grips with it. They said that I'm not rushing it. I don't want it to come right now, but I'm okay with it. I'm ready for it. I've made peace, and he said a few of them had regrets, rascally regrets. They had their regrets, but he said the thing was that most people, even though they did have regrets, they just didn't dwell on them anymore because he realized I don't have time to dwell on this stuff anymore. And it was just kind of neat for him to really portray this, so you can see the face of people that aren't 95 or 100 years old, and go, these are people who aren't walking the earth, but even at a young age, maybe in their 40s or something like that, they came to grip with, this is the reality of my life, and it's what it is. And I read a book, and I wish I could remember. He was a professor that wrote. He is diagnosed with a terminal disease, and I don't even really recall which disease it was, but it was one of those catastrophic ones. And he wrote a book about how he felt every day and the different things that he was going through, and how people were treating him and how he would respond to that, and trying to teach people that even though you recognize that your life is going to be finite, and some people get taken at a much more tender age than others, we all know what the end result of our life is going to be. It's going to be no life, right? And so this professor took this in perspective, and he talked about the suffering and the stuff that he went through in his family, and trying to realize that those people that are diagnosed with these catastrophic horrible diseases, they wind up having to work harder to keep the people that aren't sick happy and satisfied by being strong, even though they're the ones that need the shoulder. Right. And I think that's part of, the reason for his art exhibit is to get people who aren't in that position, give them a more of an understanding of, what it is to deal with this, and really, to be able to kind of almost empathize and go, okay, what, maybe it's not as bad. Because we all think, like, oh my gosh, someone's about to die. You're just going to be depressed. You want to make sure that, you don't go off the deep end. But But according to this guy, it sounds like most people in that position, their reality becomes, you know what, it's okay. I'm here, and it's going to happen, and I'm at peace, and I'm not going to dwell on the negativity. And I've got only so many days or weeks or whatever it's left to live, and so I'm going to try to focus on the positive. And I think that's part of his point is, so those of us who aren't in that position can look at someone who is and go, you know what, it's not as bad of a thing as we think. We don't have to fear it so much, and we don't have to fear that the person who's going through it, is living this life.
I wonder, Sean, to what extent the people that know that they're terminal and that it's imminent, the imminence of it. I wonder to what extent they're not so afraid of dying. They're afraid of not leaving their family in a position of security. That they're going away and they don't know how the family is going to survive. Are they going to lose the home? Are they going to be able to buy groceries? Will insurance pay off? Are they going to be in debt? I think that those people that are leaving, especially the adults, they are not fearing death. They're concerned and worried about what they're leaving behind.
And obviously, there are cases where people who put in that situation, if they have a life insurance policy, have committed suicide in order to take care of their family. And so we do know that people will, that's a big concern. I've talked to people, one-on-one that say, I don't ever want to go through chemo. I don't want to go through radiation. I don't want to go through whatever it is. I don't want to go, if they say, look, you've got a year left, I just want to die in peace. I don't want to go through all this and leave my family all these medical bills. I think that is a major concern for a lot of people is, I don't want to leave my family in a position where they can't take care of themselves. And maybe you're not going to be there to be the breadwinner anymore if you are, but at least, you can put yourself in a position where you don't have to contribute to a massive amount of debt, which is what happens in a lot of cases.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've forgotten because the years have passed. But I can tell you when it was my mom and it was my dad and different people that I've been involved in the funerals with, that is a horribly, horribly expensive process. Doesn't have to be, but it winds up being a show that you have to protect yourself from when it comes to the mortuary because they play on your emotions and they get you buying. Yeah. I mean, we got to get this casket would be a lot more comfortable. And I'm thinking, comfortable? They're dead. What the hell are you talking about? Comfortable? Give me a break, right? You know what? We need to bury them. We need to get some clothes and bury them in these clothes. What for? They're going to be 6 feet under the ground. Nobody's going to see them. Except for maybe a viewing, in the casket. But they start playing on your emotions. Did you know that you are not required to be embalmed to be buried? It's an expensive extra process, but it's not a requirement.
I don't know why it would be a requirement. Your body's going to decompose in the ground. I don't know why you would not want it to. Yeah. An embalming makes the only reason you would need to embalm someone is if there was, say, maybe it's a homicide investigation and you need to preserve the body or something along those lines. Yeah. But other than that, embalming really, obviously, if you want to have an open viewing and you're not going to be able to have the funeral for a couple of weeks, that you're going to need to be embalmed.
Yeah, because of the odor.
You're not going to look very pretty. Yeah. But other than those kind of things, there's really no reason to be embalmed at all.
Yeah, so they start playing. One of these days we ought to talk about that. It's really a serious issue. You start talking about caskets that are. A casket can cost $6,000-$7,000, even more. Oh yeah. Then the internment. They're gonna put you into this 6 by 2.5 foot plot of land, and they're going to charge you $8,000, $10,000 for that. And then they're going to, and all the stuff that goes on. This is kind of, I'm thinking just, a ceramic urn or a plastic bag with my ashes. When I die, what I want them to do, I've already told my daughter this. I want them to cremate me. After they've taken all the parts they can use, cremate me, put my ashes in a water balloon, take it out over Washington D.C. and drop it on the IRS.
I love it. It's great.
That's my dream.
Did you know they can actually take your ashes down? They have a system that they can compress the ashes down under such pressure that they can actually create what is, I guess, the equivalent of like a cubic zirconium. They can make a diamond, a fake diamond out of your ashes.
Oh, you're kidding. No, I hadn't. You know what? Let's talk about that when we come back from this break. That's kind of interesting. I'd never heard that before.
All right, we'll talk about that.
All right, we'll talk to Sean about turning your ashes into jewelry. Right, these brief messages. Yeah, don't choke on neck necklace. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where it's 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 62 degrees. But if you're living in our syndicated network and you happen to be in London, England, again, you're lucky. It's 72 degrees and clear. If you're in Vienna, Austria, 64 degrees and clear. We're talking to our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. Boy, we have talked about everything under the sun here today so far.
Well, we're going to talk about one more thing that sparkles from the sun.
Did I ever tell you that? Did I ever tell you that when I was thinking about my career and I couldn't decide what I was going to be, my dad asked me, "Hey, son, what do you want to be? For a career?" And I said, "Well, Dad, I either want to be a doctor or a taxidermist." He says, "A doctor or a taxidermist?" He says, "Yeah. If I can't cure them, I'll stuff them."
Exactly. I love it.
Okay, so what was the science?
That's like me. I always wanted to be a comedian, but I was just afraid people would laugh at me.
Oh, jeez. Hey, so listen, did you say you wanted to talk about science?
So yeah, it's actually I actually heard about this from someone else, and they said, yeah, you can take your loved ones and have them made into diamonds. And I said, well, can I do that with my ex-wife? Apparently, you have to wait till the person dies, though. So
that's too bad. That's too bad. But is that true? Yeah. I mean, can you really? I mean, it's it's quite a lengthy process. But what they do is they take like 10,000 years, right?
Well, yeah, 10,000 if you want a real diamond. Yeah. If you want a fake one that only costs anywhere between 1,000 to 20,000, then we can get you one here in a few weeks. Mm. But so they take the ashes and they put it in like a crucible, like a cooking deal, and they heat it up to 5,000 degrees, and that way it allows everything that's in there to oxidize. So basically, you're left over with carbon. So you've got a carbon, because that's what the diamonds are made from, is carbon. Mm-hmm. And then they continue heating that, and the carbon will eventually turn into graphite. And this process alone takes like a few weeks for it to happen. And then they take the graphite and they place that in a core with a metal catalyst, or sometime it's called a diamond seed crystal, some sort of I guess it's like something that actually is a catalyst to create the change needed in the carbon, the graphite at this point. And they put that in a press. So they put it under pressure, and they bring the temperature up to 2,500 degrees, and it goes under 800,000 pounds per square inch of pressure.
Wow.
And then it stays like that for several more weeks until finally you have a rough, crystal, a fake diamond, but it's a crystal really is what it is. And then they take that out and they go and work on the faceting tool just like they would with a regular diamond, and they can make it, if you want a quarter carat, a half carat, a full carat, if you want to string the little diamonds and, make a necklace, or you want to make a ring with a few diamonds on it, or one big solitaire, or whatever you want to do, make a pendant that goes on your shirt, with a nice pretty design. You can get clear ones, just like
I can see it now. Gee, I love your tie tack. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's my ex-wife.
Yeah.
That's toothpick.
That's George. But yeah. So yeah, they take, it takes like apparently it's a few months for this whole process to go, but you can get different colors just like you can with regular diamonds: yellow, red, blue, clear, whatever you want. I'm assuming they put some sort of a coloring agent, like something like a chemical that creates the chemical reaction to make it that color. But you can get them to look like just about anything you want. You can get a regular cut, princess cut, heart cut. Whatever cut diamond you want, you can get it made.
That's amazing. I'm almost afraid to ask you how you know this.
I honestly don't remember. I just remember having a conversation with somebody about this. Oh, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, but I thought it was just fascinating. I don't remember how that got brought up. No clue. But probably someone said, "Can you believe they do this?" And I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, I can, but that's kind of creepy when you think about it. But I go,
it obviously hasn't taken off, huh?
It's probably, at the price, yeah, there's a reason. I mean, like I said, a 1 carat diamond is anywhere from 15 to 20 grand.
Oh.
So yeah, they're not cheap. If you want to make something nice, you're looking at spending some money to make these. So they're never going to take off, on the mass market because most people can't afford, that kind of money. And I'm sure insurance doesn't cover it.
I'm thinking a Viking funeral, one of these deals where, they just set my body up on this raft and they shoot an arrow at the raft and it catches fire and I'm gone.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what I seriously. I've thought that same thing. I'm like, just build a huge raft out of a bunch of logs, soak it with gasoline, throw my body on there, torch it, push it out in the middle of the ocean, and we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, there's no reason to have a big ceremony. In fact, get out the marshmallows, roast some marshmallows while I'm.
You know what? I can see the mail. I can see the mail 2 days, 3 days later. Me getting a ticket for polluting the ocean.
Exactly. it would be sent to my dead body at my old address. Yeah, exactly. But no, this whole thing with the diamonds. I got to say, it's pretty creative. It's kind of weird, but it's not really any more creepy or any more weird than keeping grandma in an urn, on the mantle there. So to have a diamond, if you can afford it. Hey, why not? Especially, you think about like to me, someone who I could see doing this would be like maybe a couple who's been married for decades, and that's got to be, the most. I can't even imagine, the most crushing thing you got to go through is to, I'm sure losing a kid. That's definitely tough. But to be married to someone for 50 years,
Sean, I've been married for decades, and I wouldn't even consider it.
Well, what, making a diamond?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't, but I'm sure there are some people out there who would, But I mean, that's I don't know why else you would. But
think about this. Think about this. Why not? Here's the deal. So your wife dies, and you have her made into a diamond, and you put that into a beautiful setting, and you give it to the next gal as an engagement ring.
Yeah.
No, come on, that is not going to happen.
I'm kidding. That is not where I was going with that. But I'm thinking of someone like, I would say, people, like I said, what I'm thinking of is the couple who's been married so long that, once one passes, the other one is just distraught and isn't going to go out and find another relationship.
Well, what? I mean, very honestly, I wouldn't consider. I mean, it would have to be by accident because I'm never going to find another gal like Marlene. It's just not. Oh God! It's not going to happen
for this long. No way. Yeah, no, she is. She's an amazing woman. You're right, and I can. And we've had this discussion before. I look at you and just everything about your life. You've been successful. There's a lot of people who have been financially and career-wise successful as you have. Mm-hmm. But they've been through 2 or 3 wives. And they're on wife number 3 or 4 that's 30 years younger, and they think they're successful. Everyone else is looking at them like, not really, because you kind of screwed up the personals. But you've got you're still fit. You're a fun guy, you're witty, and I'm going to sit here and I expect a Christmas card out of all this. But, but really, I mean, you are really the picture of when most people, say, this is how I want my life to be, when you're growing up, is they picture someone like you, who's gone out and has had great success with your career and you live life and you have this passion, you travel, but at the same time, you've got this, this marriage that's lasted for, I'm already married. How many years you been married?
51.
51 years. That's unbelievable.
Yep, 51.
When you got a greater than 50% fail rate in this country, there aren't too many people around who can say they've been married for more than 50 years. That is an amazing accomplishment.
I've got to tell you, 51 years. And of course, we've known each other longer than that. We were engaged for a couple of years, and we went together for a couple of years. And the thing is that all of those years. Seems like yesterday. It went by in the blink of an eye. It was just unbelievable, just like yesterday. And I just can't imagine a life without her.
I would imagine that would be how I would feel too. And that's pretty amazing to think. A half a century with one person by your side. That's pretty awesome. And to me, that's obviously I didn't make it. I didn't even make it 15 years, let alone 50 years. But that's the way it should be, though. So.
Hey, some of us get lucky because it really is just a crapshoot. It's a bad choice of words, but it's just really getting lucky, because you never ever really know when you're going through this process. You think you've fallen in love, you think it is just you got hit by a freight train, but you don't really know, and you don't know what circumstances are going to change that. And if you don't have the same commitments and the same feelings and beliefs, then you're not willing to work at it. I think that happens a lot to people that are in the entertainment industry. You know what? They test the strength of their marriage every day, and I think that when you have to test it every day, it sets you up for failure.
And it does, and I think you're right. There is an element of luck, because you do know people who have been married for 50 plus years, but they're miserable, but they just won't get divorced because they don't believe in it. And then so I think it does. You've got to have that little bit of luck where you go, I just found the right person, and things worked out, and we were just a good fit. It's never going to be 100% perfect, but it's a good enough fit where you're just happy 90% of the time.
Yeah,
and that's huge. And I don't even, in my marriage, honestly, I don't even know if I was happy 10% of the time.
You know what? Anybody that tells you that they never had any rocky times, they never had any disagreements, they're just flat out lying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got to. You can't be that close to anyone, even if it's just a buddy of yours you've been friends with since high school. Everybody's going to have a disagreement at some point, and it's that sense of staying intentional. And I ask people questions all the time about health stuff, and I say, what? Every single diet plan out there has in common, like all of them have one thing in common, and that is that you have to be intentional to follow that diet.
Well, not only that, every diet you go on, every single one, bar none, with the exception of fasting, requires you to exercise.
Requires you to exercise. Yeah, exactly. You need to exercise too. But so it's being intentional. And I love this example. You talked about the entertainers, and they really are. That there's probably not a career out there that stresses a marriage more than that. Maybe the military, possibly, but and I've seen lots of marriages die in the military, and it's a horrible thing. But of course, we all, everyone, unless you've been living under a rock for the last 40 years, you would know who George Strait is.
Sure,
he's the greatest country singer of all time.
Oh yeah,
he has more number one hits than any other artist or group or anything of all genre in the history of recorded music. So, it doesn't matter if we're talking the Beatles, Elvis, Michael Jackson, whatever. George Strait has more number one hits. In fact, the number two person is Conway Twitty.
Oh, is that right? Do you know what? I'm a huge fan of both.
Me too. I grew up with Conway Twitty, and as I got into maybe I guess my teens, I really discovered George Strait, and I love both of them. But George Strait made a movie 25 or so years ago.
And I know what it was, and he was a singer that wound up on not a dude ranch, but a working ranch, right?
A working ranch, yep, and fell in love with the girl at the ranch.
Yeah,
and he kind of hidden this. He was a famous country singer, and he went and shaved his face and hid his identity from them, and basically got a job as a work hand there, at the ranch, just helping out. And of course his buddy found him, and then his manager found him and brought him back on. And through this whole thing, there's a love story in there, and of course he falls in love with this girl in the movie, and there's a scene in the movie where they're going to kiss, right? He sings this song to her, and they're going to kiss. And he reads the script, and he goes to the producer, and he says, it's a great movie, and I'd love to do this. He goes, you know what? There's a scene here where you got me kissing this other actress. And he said, yeah. He goes, well, I'm not going to do that. And I said, well, you need to do that. It's part of why wouldn't you do that? And he says, well, I'm a married man, and I don't kiss any woman but my wife.
Well, I didn't know that.
You're not really kissing her. Yeah. They're like, you're not really kissing her for real. It's just acting. He goes, I don't care if it's acting or not. He goes, I'm not going to kiss her. He goes, you either write this out of the script or I'm not doing the role. And of course, they wanted him bad enough that they wrote it out of the script. But yeah,
I had never heard that story. What a wonderful story, and the perfect time for you and I to part company until Thursday.
Well, we'll just think about George Strait until then, and when we come back, maybe we'll talk about another country singer.
You know what? I'd love to do that. I just, absolutely. Hey, I don't know what the hell happens to the time with you.
It went right by.
But you got at least this gives you something interesting in Wichita, Kansas to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, absolutely! It's definitely the height of my time spent here in Wichita. Well, that and hanging out with Sally too.
Yeah, well, you need
almost as fun.
You need to promote the show out there in Wichita.
I'm going to be doing that. Absolutely.
All right. Hey, my friend, you have a great, safe week, and I'll talk to you on Thursday. Make everybody happy that they know you. Matter of fact, I know that you already do.
Thanks for looking forward. I had a great time. Looking forward to Thursday.
All right, buddy. You take care. Now, the rest of you folks, stick around, because when we come back, we're going to be doing the birthdays for the day. We're also going to do the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. And then right after that, we'll do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. The story today is The Kiss. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And it's still 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, down from 92 on its way to 62 degrees. That'll be really nice. And you know what? If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you are in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 82 and clear. It's also tomorrow. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, it's 79 degrees and mostly cloudy. So that's what's going on there today. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the Harvard Business Tip of the day. And the management tip today is help your cross-cultural team make that deadline. You know, managing a project on a light or a tight deadline is tough, but it can be even more challenging when you're looking or working with a cross-cultural team. Now, on time often means something different in Germany than it does in Belgium or Kenya. That's why it's important to clarify exact deadlines right up front. Don't assume that I'll get the data to you next week means it will be in your inbox on Monday morning. Ask people to be very specific about when they'll complete tasks that affect others' work. And build in extra buffer time. Padding due dates is always a good idea, no matter the culture. But there are often additional delays that when you're working globally. Sometimes there can be technology or even utility issues like access to electricity. Other times there are holidays that you weren't expecting. Instead of asking for something 24 hours in advance, ask for it 48 or 72 hours before your deadline. This gives you extra time to follow up before the deliverable is absolutely needed. Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do. You know, it's just good planning, I think. Well, you know what? It's time for the secret teaching for your life. And here's the deal. This is all about a positive mental attitude. You really honestly do decide if you're going to be happy, sad, rich, poor, successful, or a failure. And you do that every morning. When you get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, wow, this is going to be a fantastic day. I'm going to be so productive. I'm going to be so successful. We're going to do so well today. And if you do that and you believe it and you live it and you breathe it and you walk it and you talk it, that's exactly what will happen. You control your life every single day. And a lot of times, the lives around you. Now, the teaching for today comes from Wallace Wattles, and he was born in 1860, died in 1911. He says, if it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. Yeah, all about that positive mental attitude. Now, you know what today is? Sure you do. It's Tuesday. It's August the 23rd, and it is somebody's birthday. Well, we've got 3 terrific birthdays for you today, so we might as well get right to them. This first person was born in 1946, died in 1978, was a drummer of The Who. He gained notoriety for exuberant drumming and his destructive lifestyle. Happy birthday, Keith Moon. And then here's another famous guy that you'll know, 1970s when he was born. Passed away in 1993, film actor whose career was cut short when he died of a drug overdose on Halloween morning, 1993, at the age of 23. Happy birthday, River Phoenix. And then finally, fellow born in 1978, shooting guard who plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. He was the most valuable player in the 2007 to 2008 season. Happy birthday, Kobe Bryant. Yeah. Well, what do you suppose happened today in history? Well, I'm about to tell you. August the 23rd, in the year 79. Mount Vesuvius begins stirring on the feast day of Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. Yeah. And on this day in 1989, singing revolution. 2 million people from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania stand on the Vilnius Tallinn Road holding hands. That's the Baltic Way. Yeah. And finally, in 1990, Armenia declares its independence from, the Soviet Union. Well, let's talk about the quote for today. We have a great quote for today. It comes from somebody who was unknown. But I'll tell you the quote, though. It says, life was so much easier when your clothes didn't match and the boys had cooties. Do you remember that? Sure you do. Cooties. Yeah. All right. They even had a game called Cooties when I was a kid. I don't know if they still have it or not, but kind of an interesting thing. Well, let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. You know what? Sugar was first added to chewing gum in 1869. Now, ironically, a dentist named William Simple was behind that decision. Yeah, that was good for business, right? Absolutely. Did you know that the Philippines consist of 7,100 islands? Yeah, that's why the Philippines is plural, not Philippine. And how about this? The first company to mass produce teddy bears was the Ideal Toy Company. That's interesting. Didn't know that. Did you know that before Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat was the most popular cartoon character? Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I remember all that. I mean, it's sad, but yeah, I remember all that stuff. I'm old. How about this? The hottest chili in the world is the habanero. Yeah. You don't want to make your salsa with a habanero. It's going to set you on fire. Well, did you know that there are only 81 stable chemical elements? Rhenium was the last one to be found in 1925. 15 other elements have been discovered since then, but they are all radioactive. Yeah. And let's try this one on for size. This will be our last one. The world's largest Gothic cathedral is in New York City. It is the Cathedral of St. John the Divine on Amsterdam Avenue and 112th Street. The cathedral measures 601 feet long, 146 feet wide, and has a transept measuring 320 feet from end to end. Yeah. Well, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be doing our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. We'll be right back, folks. Don't want to go away. Don't even think about it.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time, you know what? It hasn't gone down at all. It's still 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Sydney, Australia, well, it's 55 degrees with light rain showers. Auckland, New Zealand, 54 degrees, and there's some drizzle. And if you're in Lisbon, Portugal, well, it's 72 degrees and it's clear. But right now, it's time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. Yes, sir. And you know what? Paul Harvey's the rest of the story is the biggest and best voice in America, reveals the startling heartbeats behind the headlines. Paul Harvey, one of America's favorite radio and TV commentators. He was heard on over 775 ABC radio stations and over 400 foreign stations, seen on 110 television stations, and read in 300 newspapers. Recipient of numerous awards and honors, including 9 honorary degrees. He's on the Gallup's polls lists of America's most admired men. Man, I'll tell you, if you ever had the opportunity to listen to that man, he was an orator second to none. Well, let's do our tribute today, and it is The Kiss. You know, Charlie Ross was the preacher's pet, high school graduating class of 1901. The teacher was Miss Tilly Brown, an English teacher, young, attractive. Everyone knew Charlie was Mrs. Brown's favorite. And because Mrs. Brown was such a popular teacher, it placed a lot of pressure on Charlie. Charlie had to work very hard to defend his title, teacher's pet. He had to read and to study a little bit more than everyone else. Even at that, other students made jokes behind Charlie's back. Charlie had better amount to something someday, they said, or Mrs. Brown would never forgive him. As you've guessed, Charlie did amount to something one day, and perhaps directly because of what happened during graduation exercises. Addresses had been made, diplomas had been handed out, and something else no one had expected. When Charlie Ross's turn came to receive his diploma, Miss Tilly Brown, the beloved English teacher, rose to congratulate Charlie personally with a kiss. That did it. Charlie may have been class valedictorian. He may have been editor of the student yearbook. He may have been teacher's pet. Did that entitle him to such an honor? A kiss from the class as cherished Mrs. Brown? Well, after graduation class exercises was over, there should have been laughing, shouting, excitement. Instead, there was quiet disappointment. Many of the graduates, especially the boys, resented Miss Brown's unabashed display of favoritism, so much so that a handful of them approached Miss Brown, and one of them asked her why others had been so conspicuously neglected. Miss Brown stood firm. She said Charlie had earned the special recognition. She said when the others had done something worthwhile, they'd get kissed too. She'd see to it. If this made the other boys feel a little better, it made Charlie Ross feel worse. He had been the object of this minor scandal. He had been the cause of all those hurt feelings. In life after high school, Charlie would most certainly have to prove himself worthy of Miss Brown's congratulatory kiss. And he did. In the years that followed, Charlie worked very hard. He entered the newspaper business and eventually so distinguished himself that he was handpicked by President Harry Truman to be White House press secretary. Now, the selection of Charlie Ross for the job was no mere accident. The leader of the boys who approached Miss Brown for the graduating class of 1901, the one who told her that he and the others felt left out, was Harry Truman himself. And it was to him that she had said, "Do something worthwhile, and you'll get your kiss." It is any wonder that Charlie Ross's first duty to presidential press secretary, his very first assignment was to call Miss Tilly Brown in Independence, Missouri. The message Ross delivered from the President of the United States: "How about that kiss I never got? Have I done something worthwhile enough to rate it now?" Well, he got his kiss, and that is the rest of the story. Isn't that fantastic? You know what? We got a lot of these for you. We're going to continue doing them. They've been well received. Tomorrow's story is going to be better late than never. You'll never guess, but it's a fantastic story. Now, I want to remind you that we do have our apps available. We want to encourage you to get them. Go to your app store, whether that be Google Play or Apple, and whether you've got Windows or whatever it might be, and just search Robert Cardoza Live, and up comes our app. It's absolutely free. Download it. You'll be able to listen to us anytime you want. If we're broadcasting live, you can listen live and even chat with us. And if we're not live, you can listen at your own leisure to any of our shows, or all of our shows, or just the current show, whichever one is there. And then do us a favor. Tell your friends about the app. Tell your friends about the show. You know what? They'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. And, well, I'll be glad you did, too. That's our
for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.